The cafe was nearly full. Soft music played in the background. Cups clinked gently, and quiet conversations filled the warm space. It was the kind of place people came to feel less alone, even if just for a little while. At a small table near the window sat Daniel Harper, a simple man, at least on the surface. Plain shirt, old watch, a laptop that had clearly seen years of use. Across from him sat his 7-year-old daughter, Lucy, carefully stirring her hot chocolate. "Daddy," she said softly, "are we staying long today?" Daniel smiled. "Just a bit. I've got some work to finish." Lucy nodded, swinging her feet slightly under the chair. To anyone watching, they looked like an ordinary father and daughter. No one would guess that Daniel Harper was a self-made millionaire, the founder of a tech company he had quietly sold months ago. No flashy cars, no expensive suits, just a quiet life and the one person who mattered most. Across the cafe, the door opened. A young woman stepped inside. Her name was Emily Carter. Her eyes scanned the room quickly, searching. Every table was full, every seat taken. She clutched her bag tightly, clearly nervous. After a moment, her eyes landed on Daniel's table. 2 seats, one empty. She hesitated, took a breath, then slowly walked over. She said quietly. Daniel looked up. "Can I sit with you?" she whispered. Lucy looked at her curiously. Daniel gave a small smile. "Of course." Emily let out a quiet sigh of relief. "Thank you." She sat down gently, placing her bag beside her feet. "I didn't realize it would be this crowded," she said awkwardly. "It usually isn't," Daniel replied. For a moment, silence. Then Lucy smiled brightly. "I'm Lucy." Emily smiled back. "I'm Emily." Daniel closed his laptop halfway. "I'm Daniel." Emily nodded politely. "Nice to meet you." She glanced at them briefly. "You two come here often?" "Sometimes," Daniel said. "It's our thinking spot," Lucy added proudly. Emily chuckled softly. "That sounds nice." But there was something off. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Daniel noticed. "Rough day?" he asked gently. Emily hesitated, then laughed quietly. "Is it that obvious?" "Only a little." She looked down at her coffee. "I had a job interview today." Lucy leaned forward. "Did you get it?" Emily shook her head. "No." "I'm sorry," Lucy said. Emily smiled faintly. "It's okay. I'm used to hearing no." Daniel studied her for a moment. "What kind of job?" "Marketing," she said. "Or at least that's what I studied." "And what did they say?" She let out a breath. "That I don't fit their image." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "What does that even mean?" She shrugged. "I guess it means I don't look confident enough or successful enough." Lucy frowned. "That's silly." Emily smiled. "I thought so too." There was a pause. Then Emily looked at Daniel. "What about you?" she asked. "What do you do?" Daniel leaned back slightly. "A bit of this, a bit of that." Lucy giggled. "He works on his computer a lot." Emily laughed softly. "Sounds important." "Not really," Daniel said. They talked for a while, about small things. Coffee, work, life. And for the first time that day, Emily seemed to relax. She laughed more. Her shoulders dropped. The stress slowly faded. At one point, Lucy got up. "I'm going to the counter," she said. "Do you want anything?" "I'll come with you," Daniel said. He stood, turning to Emily. "Don't go anywhere." She smiled. "I won't." As Daniel and Lucy walked toward the counter, Emily watched them. There was something about them. Something calm. Something safe. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Another rejection email. She sighed and looked away. Near the counter, Lucy tugged Daniel's sleeve. "I like her," she whispered. Daniel smiled. "Me too." "Is she sad?" "A little." Lucy thought for a moment. "Can we help her?" Daniel looked back toward the table. "Maybe." They returned with drinks. But something had changed. The cafe manager was standing near their table now. He looked nervous. "Sir," the manager said carefully as Daniel approached. Emily looked confused. "Is something wrong?" she asked. The manager shook his head quickly. No, everything is fine." He turned to Daniel again. "Your driver is here." Emily blinked. Driver? Daniel sighed slightly. Already? Lucy smiled. He's always early. The manager nodded respectfully. Yes, sir. Emily looked between them, confused. I'm sorry, did he just say driver? Daniel rubbed the back of his neck. Yeah, it's about that. Outside the cafe window, a sleek black luxury car had pulled up. The driver stood beside it, holding an umbrella. People on the street glanced at it curiously. Emily's eyes widened. That's yours. Daniel gave a small, awkward smile, something like that. She stared at him. You said you do a bit of this, a bit of that. Lucy giggled. He sold his company. Emily blinked again. You what? Daniel exhaled softly. It was just a small tech business. The cafe manager nearly choked, trying not to react. Emily leaned back in her chair. You're a millionaire? Daniel shrugged. I guess. Silence. Then Emily laughed. Of course you are. He raised an eyebrow. What does that mean? It means, she said, shaking her head, I spent the whole day being judged for not looking successful, and then I sit with someone who actually is, and you look like... She gestured at him. This... Daniel smiled. Exactly. Lucy leaned forward. Do you still think you don't fit the image? Emily paused, then smiled slowly. No, she said. I think maybe the image is wrong. Daniel nodded. That's a good conclusion. The driver stepped inside briefly. Sir, we should head out. Daniel looked at Emily. Do you have somewhere to be? She hesitated. Not really. He thought for a moment. Then come with us. Emily blinked. What? Lunch, Lucy said excitedly. You can come with us. Emily laughed nervously. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? Daniel asked. Because I just met you, and you're apparently secretly rich. Daniel smiled. Or maybe I'm just a guy who shared a table. She looked at him, then at Lucy, then back at her empty coffee cup. For the first time all day, she didn't feel rejected. She didn't feel judged. She felt seen. Okay, she said softly. Lucy clapped her hands. Yay! As they stood up and walked toward the door, Emily glanced back at the cafe. Just 1 hour ago, she had walked in feeling invisible, and now everything felt different. Because sometimes all it takes is one simple question. Can I sit with you? To change everything.